Guess what? No matter where you are right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, no matter where you're at right now, every single one of us can make some sort of change, big or small, that can begin to change the circumstances of where we find ourselves. That oftentimes we don't want to find ourselves, but we continue to tell ourselves these victimization stories that somehow there's nothing that can be done. Nothing's ever going to change. No one cares about you. And you know, one of the hard truths in life is there's probably a pretty good chance that, yeah, no one does care about you. Especially, listen to this, if you don't care about yourself. How do you expect other people to show up for you if you're not even taking care of yourself? Isn't that the whole story here? This whole experience about self-care, self-love, right? Releasing the self-sabotage, releasing the self-abandonment, the self-destruction, the self-medication, all the stuff that just keeps us stuck. Releasing that. And as you do that, you have to start to discover and be honest with yourself about where are you. And as you take that assessment, right, you get really clear, right? You take a real clear look at who you are, right? Who are you? Right? You really take off those rose-colored glasses. Pun intended. Take off those rose-colored glasses and have some honest appraisal. There's a lot of us that have failed ourselves. There's a lot of us that aren't where we wish we would have been at this point of our life. Great. Are you just going to sit there and wallow on that for the rest of your life? Or are you going to allow yourself to be present in the now to say, you know what? I've been telling myself a lot of disempowering thoughts, disempowering beliefs. And guess what? Are you ready to start taking your power back? And guess what? Right there, there's an excavator. They're doing some work here. A little excavator. That's what it's going to take. You're going to have to start doing some excavating, sifting inside of yourself to figure out what's really going on. What's really got you messed up? Is your life that fucked up that you can't make some changes? That you can't take one little step in a positive direction? And most of the times, it's not even doing a whole bunch of new things. It's finding the I'm not going to use that word. Right? I'm not going to use it. It's finding the self-discipline. There's the word we were looking for. I almost said self-control. You'll never have it. If you're trying to be self-controlled, let me know if you ever get there. I'd be very interested to hear about how that works for you, because it never lasts. You could maybe do it for a season, for a month. Maybe you can be super duper self-controlled at work, but there's always going to be something that pushes your buttons and stimulates you in a negative sense, to where you start activating that wounded state of being, those subconscious programs. But what we want is self-discipline. And even greater than self-discipline to start is just to start caring for yourself. To care for yourself like you're someone that matters to you, right? There's got to be someone in your life outside of you that you care about, that you get a lot of fulfillment, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of exchange, saying, man, I really love taking care of these people. Maybe it's one of your parents, or maybe it's a grandparent or a lover. Maybe it's a child or a grandchild. There's got to be someone. We all have someone that we're attached to, that when we do something for them, it gives us a sense of joy. It gives us a sense of purpose that, wow, feels good. And yet it's so sad that even myself, and I know so many of you, if you're hearing this message, I know this connects with you, is that we just blow right by ourselves as if, fuck, man, we're just minced meat. We just are like a fucking floor mat, right? That our lives aren't as important as the ones that we care for. And that's like the farthest thing from the truth. How you take care of yourself, how you love yourself is the example of how you can truly show up for other people. But a lot of times what we're truly seeking from connection is an ability to say that by taking care of others, we're taking care of ourselves, and you're not. You're not. There's a big issue in regards to self-abandonment, right? We abandon ourselves putting other people first. And again, there's a whole deep societally rooted subconscious programs that we're afraid to speak our truth. We're afraid on many levels to stand in our authority and to prioritize ourselves, as if somehow that's narcissistic or egomaniac or self-centeredness. We've created all these negatives that go around the thoughts of prioritizing yourself and your needs. And that's something that I've really had to figure out. And you know, I was actually reading some receipts. When I say receipts, I went back 3 years to the day in my journal. That's a beautiful thing about journaling, you guys. If you ain't got on the journaling and you'd like to start figuring it out, but you're a little intimidated and you don't just have this writer's spirit inside of you where you could just write and write and write some more, you need more guiding, I really highly encourage you to check out the Results Kill Excuses 1% Better Everyday Journal. It literally is not meant to keep you, right, to where you don't evolve, but it's definitely like it's the training wheels to journaling, to reprogramming negative thinking. It really has everything that you need packed into it to help you reprogram negative thinking, sort through life's problems, and start to heal some emotional wounds. On top of having built into it a complete masterclass from self-sabotage to self-mastery with over 40 coaching videos from yours truly, expert guidance, teaching you about healthy habits, values, creating healthy boundaries, right? How to create a healthy reward system that doesn't set you back, so you're not doing the cheat meal versions of, you know, rewarding yourself for actually kicking some ass, but you're allowing yourself to continue to expand. And yet there I was, just before recording this video, reading through my journal from 22. And it's impressive to see the growth. And yet there's still things that I'm working on, right? That's the other beauty to this existence, especially because here's the truth. Anybody that has ever tried to tell you, hey man, just say this magic trick, say these words, do this, sleep on this, say these 3 things tonight, and tomorrow you're gonna, all your problems are gone. It's like, nah, no way. Not with the subconscious, deep-rooted emotional trauma that is so rooted inside of us. I mean, some of this shit is fucking hard to pop out of the ground to get to the root and truly reprogram who you are, that whole new identity shift. But yet, I have seen that it's possible on many levels. It's absolutely a possibility. It's absolutely a possibility for us to heal ourselves. But I'm going to tell you what, it takes commitment, it takes consistency, it takes repetitiveness, because we are creatures of habits. And just like all that negative thinking, all that doubt, right? And even if you just look at your current habits, right? The bad habits you got right now, you probably practice those on a regular basis. That's how we are. We're creatures of habit. We do the same things over and over and over and over again. And we just keep telling ourselves that there's nothing we can do about it. And we all know in our hearts that that's not true. Maybe you have tried some things. Maybe they just didn't work. So then why'd you give up? Because you think you tried all the things. And I'm here to tell you that I wouldn't keep getting on here if I wasn't definitively, continuously progressing along this spiritual awakening, healing journey. Truly seeing results in my life. And yet 13 years of sobriety from alcohol, 9 years plus another going on 3, so 12 years of sobriety from THC. I had 1 year relapse a few years back, got caught up in the smoke. But even then, you know, it was like I was just using it to fit in to a situation. And, you know, to create greater connection, what I thought would be greater connection. And yet, when that situation ended, which was a relationship, I continued to use it to numb the pain. And that's what I was reading about just now, was how, you know, I was definitely processing and working on myself and healing those deep-rooted issues of codependency and abandonment that I'm still working on to this day. But that's what happens when you really start to lock in to this journey, is that, you know, you're going to be given even greater challenges to go deeper within yourself, to truly prove to yourself. It's not about proving it to anyone else. What I do on a daily basis isn't to prove anything to anyone other than myself. I'm trying to prove myself. This whole journey has been about me trying to prove to myself that I could heal, that I could trust myself in any situation, that I had what it takes to transform my whole entire life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and even financially. Those 5 things. It's always been about trying to prove it to myself. And ultimately, people around me, some people around me appreciate it and see the change and see that transformation. I'm going to say my children are probably the biggest beneficiaries of a changed dad. I think even my ex-wife could definitely see a huge shift in how I show up for her, and, like, you know, an openness to support. I mean, even having a goal to retire her at some point along my journey. But yet, guess what? There's also some people that do not like this version of me. But guess what? They didn't like the other version of me either. So that's where you got to learn how to really, like, lock into you, center yourself on you. This whole journey is to center yourself on yourself. Does that make sense? Centering yourself on yourself, because most of us are not. Most of us are actually disconnected from ourselves. We're so distracted on all the things going on in this world. And that's what was trying to say earlier at the beginning of the message is, no matter where you're at right now, no matter what it is that's bothering you, there's something you can shift that you absolutely have control over. What is that thing that you have control over? Right? If you're someone that's tired of wars and, certain politics going on, guess what? You need to work on the wars inside of you. You need to work on the politics inside of you, right? If you're someone that's tired of feeling sick and unhealthy, guess what? You're not going to go solve the world's sickness and unhealthiness until you have solved your sickness and unhealthiness. This is how it works. It's going back to home base. The whole journey is to go back to home base, right? Really work on yourself. And then when you have started to solve the things that are messing you up, right? You then become a beacon of light for others to come to and say, hey, something changed on you. You've shifted. You're different. What is going on? Share with me. And then right away, you're going to be, at first you may feel like, wait, I don't have a certification to help people. It's like, yes, you do. Your certification is the fact that there are things that you learned how to fix and heal, problems in your life that you solved, that perfectly qualifies you to help other people. That's what qualifies me to be on here. I have a lifelong track record of being of service to others, but ultimately it's 13 years of sobriety. That's a big deal in this world. How do you get sober? How do you do life on life's terms? How do you go from letting it go in your mid-30s to being 46 years old, still picking up and putting down over 500 pounds on deadlifts, and I'm moving towards a 315 bench and just all natural type power? How did you do that? Well, it started with nutrition. Some people will say, well, that's just your genetics, but it also, okay, but that's not the only thing. I don't just wake up and have power and strength and muscular physique. I have to go put in the work. And if you go put in the work, guess what? Your genetics will work for you too. But you want to talk yourself out of it to say, it doesn't work for me. It only works for you. That's lucky. No, that's not lucky. That's limiting beliefs. And those things used to fuck me up too. And that's why I get on here, is because I know I'm reaching people that share a similar background to me. Does that make us the exact same? Absolutely not. But we absolutely share the fact that we've been hurt, and in being hurt, eventually we started to hurt ourselves in different ways. And a lot of that came through addiction. A lot of that has been through, pushing people away that we love for fear of all kinds of different things. And yet the other thing that we hurt the most is ourselves. Huge eating disorders in this world. And those are all based on unhealed trauma. Well, how do you heal trauma? Well, you got to face it. You got to feel it. You got to sit in that pain, man. It's real fucking pain. It's real pain that exists when it comes to the emotions, right? I've been going through some real heavy shit right now. If you're a regular listener, you've seen some inconsistence with me. That's not by accident, right? I'm feeling what some people would call ascension symptoms. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm just going through a season of growth and expansion, which means that I'm having to face things that have held me back in the past. It's literally like I'm being retested. And I don't even like to say the test, but I'm being given new opportunities to show up as a new, evolved, more refined version of myself. You heard that word, right? A more refined version of myself. The version that I write about, the version that I visualize about, the higher self, versus the wounded guy licking his wounds, feeling insignificant, feeling like he's never going to be good enough, carrying around all the guilt, carrying around all the shame, all the doubt, all the grief, all the anger, all the fear. It's like, there's probably a time in every single day that I got to kill that motherfucker. Why do you think it's results kill excuses, right? Results is the higher self. The excuses is the lower self, right? That's not by accident. Results kill excuses is all about a journey of the higher self versus the lower self. The lower self wants to have an excuse, wants to hold you back, wants to keep you stuck, wants you to feel like you are so insignificant that you will never make a difference, you will never break free, you will never, ever, ever overcome all the shit you've been through. And yet, my higher self, my soul to your soul is saying that is bullshit. It needs to get taken out. Kill it. Kill that noise. That's all it is noise. And it's really fear. And what we're talking about is the difference between the results is love, the excuses is fear. Love triumphs over fear. Love kills the fear. When you love yourself, when you fall back in love with yourself, your one and only true love, your truest of true loves. Everyone's looking for the one, right? We're all looking for the one. And I'm telling you, go look in the mirror. That you don't have just one, you have two, you have three. There's three of you there. There's an inner child, there's an adult, and there's a parent. There's three aspects to yourself. So you don't even got one, you got three. And guess what? They all need you 100%. They need all of you to show up, to say, you know what? Change starts with me. Nothing changes if nothing changes. But if just one thing changes, right? It's a process of elimination. A lot of us, we're going into a holiday weekend, depending on when you're watching this. If you're going into the summer, we're going into holiday weekends. Everyone's looking for an opportunity to do what? Kick the fuck back, right? Drink some brewskis, hot day, cold beer, right? Dogs, bergs, all the bullshit. And yet it doesn't serve you anything. It's zero, right? It's a repeat of year after year after year after year. And yet when you finally come off of that summer high and you hit into the fall and into the winter, that's when you go through your depression, and then it finally starts to warm up and spring kind of goes quick. And then we're right back into summer. Okay, yay, 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 yay. Here we are again, yay. It's just like, man, that's a broken record. It would be beautiful for you to lock in, right? And I have a few resources for you. First is the Results Kill Excuses 1% Better Everyday Journal, Volume 1. Volume 2 is about getting ready to launch. There's a Volume 3 and a Volume 4. It's literally a 1-year program broken down into 4 volumes that can lock you in to really holding yourself accountable, creating daily goals, helping yourself to reprogram all that negative thinking, starting with some new habits, right? But it starts with you. It starts with you wanting to make the changes. Having that honest conversation to look yourself in the eyes and say, you know what? I've been bullshitting myself, and enough's enough, right? The sun is setting on your bullshit. How many more days are going to go by before you finally say, enough's enough? My time is now. I'm ready to take that leap. 1% Better Everyday Journal. Beyond that, I think we get back at it, I think it's June 1st, is the Breath of Life Healing Circle. We've had our first 3 sessions. If you're interested in that, click on that link down below or go to resultskillexcuses.com and sign up for the Breath of Life Healing Circle, where we have some really beautiful souls meeting, and there's a lot of vulnerability. It's a safe place. You're not going to be judged. All you got to do is show up, sign up, show up, right? Those are the 2 hardest things, because I had people, and maybe you're one of them. I had people that signed up and didn't show up. Aw. You signed up and you didn't show up. You didn't do step 2. Because why? Because it's so fucking scary. Why is it so scary? Why is it so scary to work on yourself? Somebody please comment down below. What is the fear? What is the thing that's holding you back from saying, you know what, like meeting with compassionate people that are also working on their own things, right? We could call them skeletons in the closet, facing my demons, right? Just healing, just trying to work on my past. What is it that's so fucking intimidating? There's so much resistance. There's so much opposition that even when people sign up, that means they're paying their fucking hard-earned money, and yet they didn't even show up. They didn't even show up, man. There's some people that didn't even show up. Are you going to be one of those? You're going to sign up and not show up? I'm telling you, sign up, show up. Just see what happens. The month of June, you get a bonus, right? We're going to meet 4 times in June because there's 5 Sundays. And so there's a bonus one. So now would be a great time to sign up for the Breath of Life Healing Circle. Well, what is it, right? It's basically a group session. It's a group coaching session is what it really is. Just kind of fun. We're sitting there on camera, connecting, right? Getting to know each other. I always put out some reflection questions for us to have a group discussion. And then we jump into visualization, right? All you got to do is sit back and relax for that and allow for some messages to come through from your higher self, your lower self, and all kinds of other beautiful souls and things that are associated with your life. And then finally, we're doing some breath work. And in that, there's a lot of healing. There's a lot of breakthroughs happening. But yet, we're so scared of these things, right? We'd much rather what? Stay miserable, stay oblivious, another year passing by. Gosh, man. My heart goes out to you if you're on that fence, if you're just continuing to negotiate with yourself, right? You know that's part of the grief, right? You're carrying around grief, right? That's basically denial. Some of you are saying, right? Some of you are thinking that there's no way, nothing's going to ever change. So you're just in denial. You're in denial, which is, again, it's just a grief. What's the grief? That your life didn't go the way that you thought it'd go. Shit happened, right? So you're carrying around grief. And yet the first stage of grief is denial. Second is bargaining, right? You're trying to basically bargain with yourself about what can be done, what should be done, or if anything even needs to be done. And then guess what? Then comes anger, then comes depression. And we never really want to get to the acceptance to where it's just like, you know what? It's all lined up for you right now. It's all lined up right here, right now. The time is now. I absolutely believe that. I know that I'm reaching people that we're soul tribe. We're meant to work together. And yet, when are you going to join in this journey? You don't have to walk it out alone. You got a big brother to fucking lean on. You've been doing these things. And I care about you. And I want to support you. And I knew that I could get somewhere. I knew that I can change. The one crazy thing was when I started, though, I didn't know how. I was just wanting to try everything. And the beautiful thing is along the journey, I was shown as I tried things, I figured out what the hell worked and what didn't work. Because I was that curious and that relentless and that persistent along my journey, I've had incredible results. By results, I mean that my higher self has been evolved and expanded more and more and more and more. And I've killed the lower self more and more and more and more. And I'm not there yet. But I can tell you that There's been some incredible breakthroughs in the last 6 months. Incredible breakthroughs. Major, major shifts. And I ain't going nowhere. There's some times that I need to pull back to reflect because, again, I'm going through some of these ascension symptoms and just having to allow for new things to unfold in my life. And that's what's been going on lately. But I'm still very much locked into this journey and this experience, and it's been such a beautiful thing. And I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to see how things continue to unfold. And I can't wait to see you celebrating your victories, your wins for putting in the work. Things that you actually can celebrate. Think about it. You know how good it feels? Think about 3 things right now before we put this one to rest. I started talking about no matter where you're at, there's something you could do to change. There's absolutely something. What are 3 things? What are 3 things that you wish were different about your life? What are 3 things you wish were different about your life? Now, when you think about those 3 things, and even if you were to write them down, no matter how impossible it feels for those 3 things that you wish were different, the fact that you could even imagine and come up with 3 things that you just can say, hey, these 3 things, it would be great if these were different, should tell you that those 3 things absolutely can be different. You just have to want it to be different. And what it takes for you to want something to be different is for you to literally say, okay, if I want this thing to be different, what are you willing to do little by little, day by day, week by week, month by month, for an extended period of time to give yourself an opportunity to fucking kick some ass and change some things about your life. And a lot of times, we really just need to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. And that's painful because we get real comfortable with shit that does not serve us. We get real comfortable keeping things around that we're just so stinking used to. And it just gives us such a sense of fear that we don't believe that we can truly change, right? That we're good enough to change. But look, every single day it changes, right? One day's coming to an end. What does tomorrow bring? Tomorrow should bring some more hope, right? Your tomorrow can definitely be better than your today. And does it have to be 1,000 times better? Fuck no. Just a little bit better. That's all it takes. Is just having a mindset that says, you know, I just want to get a little bit better today. That's what's gotten me as far as I've been. So I just kept waking up saying, you know, just a little bit better today, man. Just a little bit better. Do I wish I could fucking abracadabra a bunch of shit in my life? Fuck yeah. But when I look back 3 years of journaling, I mean, I've been journaling more, but I just randomly pulled out a journal and it's from 3 years ago. And I'm like reflecting about what that guy was talking about 3 years ago. I'm like, holy smokes, man, this dude is living a whole nother life. How is that even the same guy? Which that gives you some encouragement to say, that gives me encouragement. That's why I've always believed, like, that's why once I really locked into journaling, I'm like, this shit is so essential. It's so essential. And I'm somebody that I used to cheat a lot in English class. And we didn't even have ChatGPT back then, but I definitely didn't like reading books. Like I did like reading books, but not ones that I was told I had to read. That was my problem. If the teacher said, hey, you have to read this book, I didn't want to read it. I'd go get them dang Cliff Notes, right? I'd skim through the book. I learned how, I was a master skimmer. I knew how to skim through shit, right? And I've had to change my ways. I mean, I've grown up. It's all about growing up a little bit. Try new things, giving yourself permission to try new things. And I like to try new things every day, every week, every month, on a regular basis. Trying new things is what life is all about. If you're not trying new things, then that means that you're only doing the same things. And if you're doing the same things, fuck, your life has got to be stagnant. I mean, because even as I'm doing things that are, I do a lot of the same things over and over again, but those are healthy habits. But even in that, I give myself flexibility to try different ways to do it. I'm seeking knowledge on a regular basis. And even when I look back at my journaling style, it's evolved. But yet it started at a very, I could say an elementary basic level. And yet that is where I developed this whole idea with the 1% Better Everyday Journal, is to help people that don't have a journaling practice to build you up like training wheels on learning how to ride a bike, right? You just start with the basics. It's simple to follow, easy, right? And eventually you take off, because there is some free writing pages in there and there is some reflection. And yet it just takes your commitment. It takes your willingness to say that you want to try something new, that you want to really have an honest look at yourself and say, okay, what's really going on with this guy or gal, right? What's really going on underneath the hood? Enough of the bullshit. Take off the mask, quit faking the funk, get real with yourself. Your journal is not about anybody else. No one else is ever going to check your journal and make sure you did all your penmanship right and grammar. I got all kinds of probably weird mistakes. I was reading through it and I'm like, dude, this guy still has a hard time spelling and grammar. But it's also, I'm writing first thing in the morning. I don't care. I understand what I'm trying to express, and that's all that matters. It's a very personal, private thing, and it's a practice that you should heavily consider, whether you just get a dang notebook or whether you want something that's more guided because you want to be a lot more serious and accountable to yourself along this journey. I welcome you to join me, join many others. And thank you to everyone that has taken on the Results Kill Excuses 1% Better Everyday Journal Challenge. I mean, it brings me the greatest joy when the order comes through and I'm like, I get to ship out journals. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's the coolest thing ever. And I can't thank you enough if you're someone that has supported me. If you have, comment down below, right? Let me celebrate you, because I can't thank you enough for being a part of this journey, for believing in it, and for giving yourself a chance. It means the world to me. I love you guys. Go do something new for yourself. Quit holding yourself back. Let this summer be the summer of transformation, not the summer of redundancy, the summer of doing the same old shit. Let it be a summer of transformation. That means who you are now is not who you're going to be come September 1st. Join me on that challenge. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it won't be worth it. Greg's out.